Ever since I first played Super Punch-Out in 2018, something about it stuck out to me. It wasn't like any fighting game that I had ever played before, it felt different. I've never really been the biggest fan of playing fighting games, mainly because I don't like having to deal with nonsense like this. That's not to say that fighting games that are like this are bad in any way. I really like watching other people play these games because they're actually good at the game and can pull off some really impressive stuff. However, I'm a simple man and I personally prefer to play Super Punch-Out. Now that we're clear on that, here's a transition.
Oh, son, every day with you is a punch in the nads.
Super Punch-Out has a locked third-person perspective, and movement is pretty limited. You can move in 4 different directions, by dodging left or right, ducking, or blocking. Of course, you can also punch your opponent in either the face or the stomach. Who would have thought a game called Punch-Out would let you hit people? The basic game mechanics are basic, but the key thing that makes Punch-Out is methodically timing when and where you need to dodge, block, or throw a punch. If you can't get your timing right, you will discover the 5th direction you can move in this game, which is down face first on the floor. But don't worry, getting knocked out is a part of the game. That's how you learn how to avoid a lot of your opponent's techniques and combos. Super Punch-Out is a strictly single-player game, so all the opponents you face are CPUs. They are programmed to have certain moves and combos that you can learn and counter to eventually beat them. Now that may sound easy, but if you've played the game, you know that this is a bit of a challenge. As the fight progresses, the boxers get more and more less predictable with their movement. They can randomly spring combos on you, and they can fake you out into thinking they're gonna hit you, making you dodge early so you actually get hit. Some of the blocking and dodging techniques you need to learn to counter these combos once again require precise timing. A lot of the fights can get really brutal because of this and have you whispering sweet nothings into the floor a lot more than you'd like to. The way you progress through Super Punch-Out is through circuits. There are 4 circuits with 4 boxers. The circuits go as follows: Minor Circuit, Major Circuit, World Circuit, and the 4th and final circuit is the Special Circuit. As you would imagine, the further you progress through the circuits, the harder the game gets. The Minor Circuit is pretty easy. It's like the tutorial circuit. You aren't going to have too much of a hard time getting through it. The Major Circuit takes it up a notch, but for the most part, it's still manageable. The World Circuit is really where the BS starts to kick in. Aran Ryan is a little gremlin that can siphon your health. Hekikaro has this stupid Mirage move that makes him practically invincible. You either have to wait out his whole thing and just kind of block and dodge his punches, or you can try hopelessly flailing your arms until he eventually hits you and you die. Mad Clown is actually a pretty cool fight. In my opinion, he's the most balanced in this circuit. But after Mad Clown, you have to fight Super Macho Man, and he is a complete douche. He has multiple combos that he can do, a stupid little hook punch that he does, and overall, he just acts like a dick while you're fighting him. Like, look at I don't want to fight you! Go away! Definitely one of the most annoying fights in the game. And finally, we have the Special Circuit. It keeps me awake at night, and I don't like it. Narcissus Prince is kind of an easy fight. If you hit him in the face, he starts to go into this kind of baby rage mode where you're able to actually hit him effectively. The only reason this fight is difficult at all is because initially it's kind of hard to hit him in the face. And then we have Hoy Quarlow, who is a little bastard that hits you with a stick. He's very unpredictable, can dodge your punches, and he can shove you around the stage whenever he wants. And unfortunately, this is where I'll have to stop with this portion of the video, because I've been stuck on Hoy Quarlow for about 2 months. I don't know if I'm stupid or if it's just really bad luck, but I haven't been able to beat the guy. Anyway, the last 2 boxers are the Bruiser brothers, but I don't feel comfortable saying anything about their fights because I haven't experienced them personally. So instead, we're just gonna move on to another important aspect of the game. Super Punch-Out establishes an amazing atmosphere with lots of detail and great use of sound design. First off, I think making the boxers taunt you when they knock you down or when you lose a fight is really smart. The taunting shows you a bit more of your opponent's personality while at the same time pissing you off and giving you the motivation to beat them up. There is nothing more satisfying in a game like this than having your opponent taunt you 1 second, then be laying on the ground unconscious the next. It's poetic. Before each fight, your opponent makes some kind of remark towards you, and a lot of the time, this remark has a hint about how to beat them or give you a heads up about a combo they have. I think stuff like this is really cool. It allows you to use your brain and strategize instead of just going into the fight blind. Next up, I want to talk about the crowd. When you first enter a fight, the crowd is moving a little bit and there's sort of a low cheer you can hear in the background.
Bob Charlie!
Ooh.
But as the fight goes on, you can hear the crowd occasionally cheering when you land a major hit on your opponent. But this all culminates when either you or your opponent gets knocked down and the crowd starts to lose their mind.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The cheering volume rises, the crowd starts to move a lot more, with some people standing up. You got a Stanley look-alike punching the air, another dude stands up in the back and starts putting his hands on his head like, oh! And another guy in the front row just starts punching the stage. It's just such a cool touch. I also wanted to make sure to mention the soundtrack in this video. Each character has their own boxer intro music, and each of the circuits has their own music as well. All of it is really good, and if you're into classic sounding game soundtracks, these are great ones to listen to.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't.
Nothing about Super Punch-Out feels out of place. It all fits together, in my opinion, perfectly. The fun of the game comes from the challenge, and most importantly, figuring out how to get around that challenge. Yes, the game can be very difficult, the randomness can screw you over, the combos can be grueling, and some of the characters can be very obnoxious to fight. However, no matter how frustrated I get at the game, I'll always keep trying to overcome the next fight. Even if it takes over 2 months of on and off play.